That's a mess of fish right there.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Catfish Combat with Joel. It is a beautiful late September day the Lord has made. Fall is upon us. We're right at that point where it's starting to cool off. Water temperature's starting to drop. Temperatures outside are nice and pleasant. It's actually a fun time to fish. All right, so let's talk about weather conditions today. So I'm out on the Tennessee River, Wheeler Lake, whichever one you want to call it. I'm basically on the river section. And temperature, the high today is going to be about 79. It is exactly 10 a.m. on the dot. Got up early this morning, got a good run in, dropped the kids off at school. I've got about 4 hours to fish here, okay? So I'm going to try to pick up some fish. There's only a few spots I can fish in that time. So I chose an area to try to be efficient. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time, so you got to choose areas where you're not going to drive really far. You know where shad are going to be. This is an area I fish a lot. There's a reason for that, because sometimes I don't have a lot of time. This has everything all within a 1 mile span of it. Shad, at least 3 or 4, if not 5 fishing spots for catfish, especially around this time of year. So that's why I chose this spot. Okay, now let's get back to weather conditions. So the temperature right now is in the low 70s. Water temperature on the surface is 77, so it's dropping. It's been 78 the last week, so it keeps dropping. As we get these, cooler days and colder nights, it's going to keep dropping. Right when it gets, right around 70 and below, that's when the catfish bite really gets crazy in the fall. That switch flips in them, and they just go into winter gorge mode. So we're not quite there yet, I don't think. But what I'm seeing, this is a spot I fished quite a bit before. So you got a finger right here that comes out, so it creates a current break. There's a current seam, and there's a lot of structure along that current seam. There's a lot of down trees, a lot of rocks, stuff like that. As I came through here, especially towards the front end of where that current break starts, saw a lot of big signatures on the bottom. I'm assuming those are catfish. Where I got the shad from, where I was tossing my net, all the shad were deep, but they were sitting at about 20 feet near the bottom. So yeah, the atmospheric pressure is not too high, so I don't think the fish are super deep right now. In fact, I saw a lot of signatures up here at about 24, 25 feet. It was anywhere between 20 and 25 feet that I was seeing them. That tells me that the fish are moving out of these deep holes, and they're probably going to get a lot more active. Okay, so for bait today, I've got 2 frozen skipjacks. I got about a dozen shad that you guys saw me catch earlier. And yeah, those are big gizzard shad. So we're gonna throw those out there and see what we can do. Oh, atmospheric pressure, it's a little lower. It's like 30.03, so medium low, not too bad. Oh man, there's a white bass feeding frenzy going on over there in the canal. That could be fun. All right, so let's keep fishing. Okay, so here's my bait concoction. I'm gonna throw out a big gizzard shad head, a chunk of gizzard shad, kind of a smaller strip, a small gizzard shad head, and then a skipjack head and a skipjack body chunk. Just like we'll see what they want today, but that's what I'm throwing. All right, so here's my configuration for today. Rod 1. So just so you're tracking, I do strategize how I do this. Usually when I'm in an area, especially on a current break, I'll throw some kind of further out. I usually use my bait casters. I can get them a little further out for kind of the longer distance stuff. The spinning rods I usually throw a little bit shorter. Okay, so and then I also kind of alternate, right? So I got on rod 1 here, I've got skipjack head. On rod 2, I've got a shad, that bigger shad body section. On rod 3, I've got a shad head. On rod 4, I've got that skipjack chunk. On rod 5, I've got a smaller strip of shad. And then rod 6, my my lucky trusty war fighting machine there, my bass rig from when I was a kid. I got a small shad head on that one. And I usually like to alternate it and kind of throw in the same zones. Like I like to keep skipjack, shad, or some type of mix of like head, body section in the same area. Catfish can be real quirky sometimes. Sometimes they will ignore a certain bait and they only want to eat a certain thing. Sometimes it'll be even so quirky they'll ignore the heads and they'll only eat body sections for a certain size bait. So that's why you got to mix it up, kind of figure out what they're biting on, and yeah, get fishing. Oh, one other thing, if you guys can see that, I upgraded my rod holders there. I got the monster rod holders, saved in my beans because they are not cheap. Like them so far. They're pretty solid, nicely bolted to the tail end of my boat there, attached to the hull. So yeah, let's see how they do. Man, I was right in that pool, so I just threw that out. That's good to know. They're sitting right on the current. This one was sitting right on that current seam. He grabbed that thing almost instantly. This isn't a huge fish, but it's fun on this one. Immediate grab. That took maybe 30 seconds. Let's get another shallower than I thought. Let's see what we got here. Is that channel or blue? Oh, it's a small blue. Huh. Good fun size blue right there. I'll take him. Good first customer of the day right there. Come here, use. Actually, I do need one for the dinner table, so I think this is the perfect size. So he's going home with me. Any others, they'll go back. Yeah, he's perfect. He's like 2.5 pounds. All right, let's get him in a live well. Good takedown. Nice fish. Wow. That is a big angry fish. And I'm at the very end too. It's getting ready to pack up. It's thrashing. It's fighting like a blue cat. See what we got here. Oh wow. That's a good blue. It's a nice blue. About 20 pounder. Maybe 15. Yeah. He's all wrapped up. Nice blue cat. Yeah, he came right out from under the bars there. I just barehand him. Got him right in the corner of the mouth. No, he's still angry. Yeah, it's a decent fish. Real fat. Look at that big old gut. I don't think he's done. I think I gotta let him thrash a little bit more. This is on a shad head, I want to say. All right. Under there. Let's just grab him, get him in the boat. All right, you know what? I'm gonna get the net. I'm gonna go grab the net here. Because he's pretty, he's got a tood. He's not a happy camper. All right, guy, come here. Hey, come here, use. All right, I got him. Get that fish in the boat. Get a height and weight on this fish. So that fish is 35, yeah, about 35. Let's get a weight on him. You guys can see the scale, about 24. That's a good fish. I'll take it. All right. Camera. Nice pretty fish right there. 24 pounds, 35 inches. All right, let's let him go. All right, later, boy. He'll get bigger. Yep. There he goes. There he goes. He's swimming off. All right, time to pack up and get home. All right, so that's going to wrap us up for this episode of Catfish Combat. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a tough day to fish, man. Fish made me work for them. Sometimes it's like that, though. Sometimes you get them. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's, you know, one after another. Sometimes you got to wait a long time or move a lot. Today the conditions were really tough. I've got a little 16.5 foot boat. That thing does not like waves. It just doesn't. When I get out there, I can do it, but it's an unpleasant time sitting there just getting slammed with big waves. And that's what was going on. So there's really only a couple spots I could fish today. Ended up lucking out on the second one. I actually lost a fish on that second one before the big blue. It was like a smallish flathead. I felt his weight, he got off pretty quick. Okay, so the catfish, I don't think they're in their fall pattern yet. It's still a little too warm. They're definitely acting more like that late summer pattern, kind of lethargic, sitting tight in various areas, not moving around a lot, so I had to soak the baits for a really long time to get fish. That's just the way it's going to be probably for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so hopefully as things cool down, we'll get this bite picked up, and yeah, we'll get into this fall pattern where fishing gets really fun. Okay, something else I want to talk about. I'm going to deviate from fishing a little bit here, but I'm going to relate it to fishing. I'm kind of speaking to everybody, but mainly the combat veteran community. Okay, so I can't count on my hand how many people I know, how many Marines and soldiers I've served with who have committed suicide. Most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, were combat veterans. Yeah, every time I hear about it, even all these years later, it's crushing. It's frustrating. I will admit, I've been there before. I've struggled with that quite a bit. PTSD, various issues with that. Here's what I will tell you, what I've kind of discovered and uncovered. And again, I don't have the answers to everything. This is just my opinion. This is just what happened for me, okay? So I'm going to share this because it worked. So you all know I'm a Christ follower. If you haven't figured that out by now, you clearly haven't been paying attention to my videos. Okay, having that is kind of the foundation, all right? Something you got to remember, something that's really hard for the veteran, especially when you've experienced something really intense like combat, and especially if you've done multiple combat tours, okay? That often becomes the veteran's identity, their ID, like their personal identification. It becomes their identity, combat veteran. And what I will challenge you guys on is this, okay? I know, believe me, I know you've experienced some hard and horrible things. I get it, okay? This is a hard truth. That was one part of your life. That's not your entire life. That's not who you are permanently. Yes, it changes you. Yes, it affects the way you see things. Yes, it can stay with you for years, probably your entire life. But if it becomes your entire identity, it will consume you. You have to live in the truth that you are an image bearer of God, that if you choose to follow Him, if you choose to follow Jesus, submit your life to Him, that is your new identity. That part of you, it's not like God removes it. That's something you experience for a reason, right? He knows everything, and He gives that to you. But if you're a Christ follower, you should start actively working against combat veteran being your complete and total identity. Because like I said, it will consume you. And again, that's why I think it eventually overtakes people that end up killing themselves. That was the way I found out of this. Now, I will tell you how this relates to fishing. Yeah, so I've always been a pretty intense infantry guy. It's always been my career. I've always sought hard assignments. I've sought to make, everybody I was always in charge of to be the best infantryman that they could possibly be. It's always what drove me. But it started to consume me. I started, after years and years and years of that, and not dealing with PTSD, not dealing with the issues, started to become really, really angry and really overly aggressive and vicious. And I had to take a step back. I ended up getting a different job in the Army, and it was much, for the first time in my entire military career, it was a very much an easier job in terms of intensity, in terms of what I was doing. I didn't like who I'd become, and I really had to take a step back and look at things. Now, I hadn't fished in years, and I just started taking up fishing again. I took my daughter, who was about 6, my oldest, I think she was 6 or 7 at the time, and we caught a bunch of catfish and a bunch of bass. And that event, it just stuck with me, and it changed me. I started seeking out fishing, and it became something else that I got joy from. That was another way out of the web of PTSD and anger and depression. Is you have to find, not only do you have to stop having your entire identity around one event of your life, you've got to find something outside of yourself, something bigger, something that you love and enjoy. And in this case, for me, it was fishing. I legitimately believe God used fishing to save my life and pull me out of that. And I'm grateful for all he's given me, and I've been able to enjoy, you know, a small boat, and I try to take care of that as best I can and use what he's given me for his glory. And yeah, so I just thought I'd share that with you guys. The last thing I'm going to say, if you know me, if you're one of the guys I serve with, an OIF 1, 2, OEF, whatever number we were in at that point, if you're really getting to that point, okay, I know everybody says call me. I'm here in Alabama. I can't necessarily come to you because I have a family, a wife, you know, and a lot of responsibilities. But if you need to get out of here, even if I don't know you, if you're a combat veteran and you want to experience what this is, if you're really struggling, you just need to have some good positive things in your life, some beauty, you know, seeing fishing, seeing the outdoors, contact me. We'll talk. I'll see if I can take you out. Okay, I'm gonna leave that invite out there. All right, so that's what I'm gonna end on. I just hope I can do some good here and prevent somebody else from, you know, ending their life. Okay, so yeah, I don't mean to be so heavy, but yeah, this is kind of something I was thinking about. So I'll end with this. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. If you need to contact me, go on the YouTube page. You can see my email address for the YouTube page, and yeah, just let me know. All right, take care. God bless. Stay on mission for Him.